I found myself in situations where people were being killed all around me. I would have their blood in my face, their brains in my face, and quite honestly, I never understood why I was not killed too. God must have had something in mind for me. I saw the bodies of American boys who were 2 or 3 years younger than me lined up in a long row on that battlefield, wrapped in their own ponchos with their boots sticking out the end. And what I knew is that these men died so that I might live. They sacrificed themselves so that those of us who were left would survive to carry their memory. You know, I grew up in Texas, and when people shoot at me, it really tends to piss me off. And so I didn't mind unlimbering my M16 and giving them some of it back. I carried water for the wounded. I carried ammunition for those who were fighting. I carried the wounded themselves into the aid station.
Joe is the only correspondent in the Vietnam War to be awarded the Bronze Star by the United States Army for heroism.
Actually, I thought I was a soldier myself. For those hours and days, I was continuing to function as a reporter. I was taking notes, I was shooting pictures, but in the back of my head, I was thinking like a soldier. I left there loving soldiers and Marines and wanting to tell their story. November of 1965 certainly changed my life. It would lead to a book that became a movie, and we certainly never thought it would sell 1,200,000 copies of a book or become a movie. But we had put 10 years of very hard research and work into those pages, because we wanted more than anything else to tell the story of that battle, those men, and that war. I've been working for the Secretary of Defense's Vietnam Commemoration Project for 4 years, and at the same time I've been a special permanent consultant to Florentine Films, Ken Burns's outfit, working on this forthcoming Vietnam War documentary history. It's 18 hours in 10 parts, and it will broadcast beginning September 17th on PBS. Ken Burns is going to turn the camera on the war of our youth. From PFC to 4-star general, I have the best friends of my life. You know, war takes a lot away from you, but it also gives you a lot. And it gave me those friendships that will endure until my last breath. Last month, preached the funeral of my best friend, Lieutenant General Hal Moore, who was also my co-author on 2 books. And it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Your best friend for 52 years is suddenly, he leaves you and crosses the river without you. I met General Myatt and had an interview with him, and talking about the threat of war on the Korean Peninsula, and I came back and wrote a cover piece for U.S. News and said that if we had another war on the Korean Peninsula, it would probably be rather like the last one we had, and the casualties would be even worse. The Marines Memorial Association and this club are my home in San Francisco. You know, I love this place. That comes out of being a longtime friend of General Mike Myatt, going back to his active duty days, and I enjoy this place. It's a chance to rub shoulders with old veterans and new veterans, and it's just a wonderful base here in the city. They didn't ask to go to that war. They were sent in the name of their country to fight under our flag. And they came home to no respect, no honor, And one thing, the wars that we have fought since then, whether you agree with them or not, whether you agree with the politicians that started them or not, it's okay to hate war, but you love the warrior. And the soldiers, Marines coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan have at least been treated honorably and with respect for their service, and primarily the welcome that they get is because of the guilt the country bears at the way it treated the Vietnam veterans returning from our war. War is evil. And it's so much easier to get into a war than it is to get out of a war. And the trouble is that not many politicians these days have experienced war, who know what the ground truth is. Our generals have, our soldiers, our Marines have, and every one of them to a man would say to you, don't do it. Don't do it, because it costs way too much. There are all of these other things, diplomacy, negotiation, you know, everything short of confrontation and short of war.